All right, there, look at that. Let's do the news here. So, for the Daily Independence, which is the first paper that we're going to be taking today, today's Wednesday, the 12th of July, you're going to find these headlines. PDP governors decry rising insecurity, killings in Zamfara, Plateau, and other states, and Tantita NNPC set vessel with stolen crude ablaze in Delta. We'll circle back round to that one because we'll meet it in other headlines, other dailies. But this one here, Senate probes fuel subsidy craze, 9.3 trillion naira spent in 30 months. So much about fuel subsidy that's been going on.
You know,
and of course, we haven't seen the last of it.
You know, there's a throwback to 2012 and the rally at Ojota here, and you know, and now everybody just has that throwback thing. How I wish that they had taken off, exactly. They had taken it off at that time, because by percent it was I think, was it? I can't remember now the figures. I know the figures, but it just doesn't come to my head. Because it was like, okay, it was a necessary, it was something necessary evil that we had to take off at that particular point in time. And see, okay, now from what the past president said, fuel subsidy was paid for 6 months, half of the year, and we know that it should have gotten up until the end of June. But then the incoming administration, when the president made the announcement at his inauguration on the 29th, we saw that prices the next day, it just went up. So what happened to that, to the June? To that provision for this 1 month? Subsidy is something that has been shrouded in so much corruption from time immemorial that it's mind-boggling.
While we're looking at the effect of it on the economy, there's also some very personal effects it's having on people, the populace, and especially people who work in that sector. And I'm talking about fuel attendants. There's been a record low, the purchase of fuel. About 28% has dropped.
Have you not said buying less fuel?
Yeah, I'm buying less fuel.
Of course.
Nigerians can
buy less fuel.
However, this is also creating job losses. When was the last time you were at a fueling station, and how many petrol attendants did you see on ground? At a fueling station with about 10 pumps, you'd only find 3 petrol attendants. This means that people are being let go of. So those are some of the resultant immediate effect that we're finding.
But the point is this, if we can take an honest probe and we do into that subsidy, as it were, there is a lot that will be uncovered. And if you can take action on those things, actionable, take actions on this thing, then we can expect. But when you just talk and probe and we don't see what is happening.
Yeah. Let's move on now. We're still going to touch on that on this headline here. These are from the Nation newspaper for a Wednesday. We have the first big headline: Adamu's incapacitation talk sparks row over Akeredolu. Ondo State PDP raises dust. Deputy Governor, I spoke with him on Sunday. At the top of the nation, border reopening plan in progress, says Customs CG. No minister in list yet, says APC. And Mustafa Bintube in Jay's Bank Board Chairman. But this one here, intercepted vessel destroyed in Delta with 150,000 metric tons of crude oil worth $86.8 million. What's your take on the destruction? First off, I saw the destruction. It was actually fired upon by an Air Force jet.
I mean, it's the same thing that happens when we see fake drugs.
Yeah,
it's about the same thing. I mean, wouldn't you rather not have them?
Don't you think that this is a resource that could have been perhaps maybe still used?
I don't know, because you have so many illegal refineries.
I agree with you.
It is affecting our.
The
president spoke about how we are not yet meeting our OPEC quota.
True.
And it's because of these things. We have people in here refining oil, these things and all of that.
So along with the destruction, they actually also destroyed adjacent illegal refineries in the area, which is grand and great. But let's think about the pollution that also brings.
And that would also bring...
You cannot destroy oil just by firing on it.
Exactly, because, I mean, it's almost like you are flaring it at the same time. So,
Exactly. We are happy that was the decision in any case, but perhaps maybe I'm thinking, this is just my take. Do you want to move on to the Punch or any other paper?
Okay. The Punch, Nigerian students face tough times in the UK as tuition soars by 60%. And, of course, that is being linked to the floating of the naira up against the dollar, and of course the pound in this particular case. New forex rate threatens overseas students, indebted to scholars, barred from classes. And parents beg federal government for concession as tuition living costs climb amid forex crisis. There's a rising cost of living in the UK.
The UK itself.
And in many cities across Europe and all of that. And then added to what we're having here, I mean, any parent that trains a kid over there from here,
they
should give that parent a diamond plaque or something.
True.
Because, man, we've heard stories and stories, and I'm wondering, how do you do it with such an exchange rate? And so, if there's any way, if with education, I mean, we've had issues where there was subsidy when it comes to religious trips. I would rather have subsidy when it comes to education in this manner, if they will come back in some ways, if they will come to give their own quota to the country. You understand? If it's not just moving away. But there's a lot around this that you have to look at around, because, look, most of these people, do they get to come back? Are they really, as it stands, they are giving more value to
the countries they are going
where they are than here? So, would it be wise for a government to subsidize
education
outside the shores of its country? Maybe not really. You understand? Maybe not really. If we could work on our own education sector here and all of that. So that might, there's that thing. Yeah, it's education. Yeah, they are your citizens. But, there's that line here that, look, it is of value to the other economy. So they should be the ones in the subsidy, not the country where the people are migrating from.
Very interesting thoughts there, Mike. I do think that that's very possible. Daily Sun is our final newspaper for today. I'm just going to touch on the headlines because we are out of time. House of Reps stops CBN universities, says no to Apex Bank's social media KYC policy, Varsities, Unity Schools tuition fees and hike. KYC, know your customer.
Know your customer.
This is being proposed as a means to definitely know or definitively know who your customers are. But many people think it's an intrusion of privacy. Why do you want to get into my life, get into my social media? Because they're requesting that your social media be part of the requisites for you to open accounts and stuff like that.
Well, as it stands now, it's basically your address online. So it is what it is. Everything that we get to do now, your social media is going to be much more important than it's where. I mean, I don't know. I don't think websites are as important as they used to be some few years back. True. Nobody goes to, as much as it is, in some quotes, for some people necessary, your social media is the first address people get to see to get to know you.
Oh, very true. Well, we'll wait to see exactly how that pans out with the banks. But what's on your social media? Because they're going to be taking critical looks at it from now. That's as much as we can take for the headlines this morning. Thank you for joining us for the review. Pick a paper. Make sure that you use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC if you'd like to say anything or share your opinion. We'd love to see and hear.